don't like the creepy vibe, you can be like, can I get somebody that's creepy? Yes, yes, you can. That is absolutely doable.
I already feel bad for the ones that are turned down, though.
Can you sign other people and force them to be attached to a pen pal?
Funnily
yes.
enough, we just had a gentleman that signed up a whole bunch of his friends and have entrusted us with picking out names for them. So that'll be a nice surprise for them.
I think I might sign up the Admiral here for that name that you said, that 6969 guy.
Oh, Halibut 69.
Unfortunately, that one is taken.
No. I mean to be pen pals with him.
Just a moment.
Oh, I'm sure he would love that. If it's allowed.
This a pen pal?
It's someone that you write to.
Oh.
Yeah. And they write back.
Alright, does anybody have some food on them?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Maybe I should do it earlier. I would like to introduce myself. I am Olaf Haraldsson from colony of Denmark, Norway. And we are coming, you know, we usually do trading and some treasure hunting and yeah, mostly trading.
Oh, it's nice to meet you. I'm Madeline.
Pleasure to meet you.
Morgan and Hal.
I'm Talsa. I'm the treasure hunter.
Oh, pleasure to meet you.
Well, come forward. I got you a present.
Hey, me? Oh.
They're not great, but it's a start. If you don't like them, you can wipe your tushy with them.
Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate it. And you all are welcome to our island. It is in C5, Calamity Bluffs, yeah?
Calamity Bluffs.
Calamity Bluffs. So we are building it up, so it's not finished yet.
So you said C5, but I didn't catch the island.
Calamity Bluffs.
I believe he said Calamity Bluffs.
There we go, that's our flyer. I had to just write it up quickly because I forgot to pick some more up off the ship. Keep doing that. I've got like a pocket full of other flyers.
It sounds like a very fascinating project you two are doing.
Well, it's not just the pen pal thing. That's more a side project. We deal with all sort of postal services, so we deliver mail, small packages. Quite a few companies have employed us to deliver flyers for them, you know, like advertisements and things. So we do that too. What else do we do more?
There's another service that I think you offer. Can you purchase a mailbox and a drop box?
Oh yes, we actually have a shop at our post office at B3 Southwest Island, Northern Tip, where you can buy post boxes. And
new shop just today.
New shop now in.
Can we buy one today if we're here?
And indeed, we do actually have a supply on the ship.
Oh, do you also have for us?
Yes, we should have enough.
And
I haven't checked
how much?
How many we've got. So the smaller letterboxes, which come in two models. There's a wall model that is very nice looking, and also a freestanding. You know, it's on a pole. It's got a little flag on the side, so you know if it's mail or not. That is 5 silver coins, and the more heavy-duty deposit box, which is slightly larger, like I say, more heavy-duty. That's 15. However, I should mention the smaller letterbox. It looks so nice, but it it does tend to lock itself every time there's a tea time. So you have to, every time you wake up, you have to unlock it so that other people can put letters in. With either model, nobody can take letters out except for, your own company. So it is pretty secure.
So you're saying the one on a pole is the better option because the hinges doesn't rust as bad.
No, that's the same as the wall one. It's the big sort of heavy-duty deposit box that is, unfortunately, the better model at the moment because it doesn't. Yeah, the latch.
How much
doesn't
was that
up.
one?
15. Unfortunately, it takes so much
Oh.
metal to make. It's ridiculous.
I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
We done some treasures on the road, on the
Ah.
sea. So, yeah.
Bogger, what
Yeah,
sort of
it's.
dock is this?
I mean, it's better purely because it's low maintenance. You don't have to be at home every time you have a big sleep and unlatch
I
it.
call it the berry
You can
dock.
always put mail in. The other ones are really nice.
Interesting
with
name.
internal mail. If you want a little
Tonk.
mailbox in each of your houses.
You,
your
you just
friends
wished
can go
you
mail
could
in,
serve some
that
tea
one's
on it,
nice.
right?
Right.
Well-
With several of your closest friends just scattered around the
I got-
table.
I got 15 out.
We need it at the officer office.
We actually only have one deposit box and 2 letterboxes, so you're gonna have to fight
Hold
it out
on.
amongst yourselves.
We may have some more on the ship. Let me go look.
Oh my god. Why weren't they in the box where they always are?
Safekeeping?
Oh my god.
Ooh, you got a dash somewhere. Of course, it's coming up a heat wave.
Is it actually a shark?
No.
Right.
Dang.
I came to look because I'd never seen a shark around the island. I was hoping to catch the sight of one.
I was
Found
gonna
a
go fish.
shark? What in the world?
Oh, they were lying.
That was a red herring.
I haven't seen one at all, so that was going to be a surprise.
Oh. Would you like me to go catch you one?
No. All right. What I want is for that bird to die. That's up there. It's really aggravating.
They're so annoying, aren't they?
Yes.
What?
They just get.
I didn't see them.
Oh no.
No.
Shark!
The waves have been
Take
washing
really
over there. It's a bit slippery.
Yes.
A bit.
How much to owe for the boxes?
What did you want?
Wait.
One of the big ones.
Yeah, the Dropbox
Yeah.
type things
Right,
that
so how
people
in the
can
world did it get
leave
inside?
donations.
It's
Yeah,
just
no,
strange
gonna
that
pay
it
it
to the
back.
smallest hole appears.
It's stuck inside.
I really thought it was a knife.
All right, don't worry about it.
It's quite colourful already, Morgan.
Don't worry, Bugger.
Okay.
I'll save you.
It comes in 2 models too.
Oh
There's
right,
sort of
it's
your,
just
your
a
shorter,
very small
fatter one,
crack there between the
and
boards.
then there's like the tall one.
Yeah, very
you know,
small.
with
It just
the mail
slid
slot in, which is
through.
quite nice.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. I love them because, you know, everybody can put stuff in, but only you guys can take it out, so nobody's going to steal your donations.
Yeah, someone left us some resources in our box earlier.
Damn it.
It was nice.
Oh, that's nice.
And I guess Elias, one of those notices
So corroded.
saying that he needs to extend his ship warranty.
Oh no.
And at this point, I think the parrot is almost mocking us.
I think the parrot won. I'm not happy about it.
It's stuck up there.
Should I try to shoot it?
But will the
Might get blood
monster
all over the museum.
will the monster get angry over it?
Are we all looking at the bird?
I
Why are
believe
we-
so, yeah.
Why is everyone using their inside voices?
I don't know. Have it.
You have it from going to the Navy, I guess.
Yeah, it's like all the way inside there.
Yeah, we can pretend that I'm a bunch of cadets with a person, and I'll yell at you all for, you know, using your inside voices, even though I'm standing like right on top of everybody talking with a bunch of people.
Totally that once. We were like all standing around in a circle talking, and this lady came over, basically stood here with a bunch of cadets, started talking to them and said, "Can you all be quiet, please? You're talking too loudly." It's like, well, don't stand next to us and try and have a conversation then.
Oh, and don't forget the classic "Hi horse."
Oh yes, same sort
my
of thing.
favourite.
But people standing around, and this one cadet wanders past, didn't say a word to us, you know, and you're thinking, oh, that's weird, and then stops and goes, "Hi horse."
Good grief.
Yes,
Are we invisible? I don't know. God, I love
Nice.
the
Got it?
You got it.
Hey,
good
name.
hit.
Hey,
now you just have a bloody roof. Oh.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
not
clean up
stuck
aisle
on
one.
Oh, it's fine. It's delightfully quiet now. I didn't want us to stand here with all the squawking.
It's like sleeping next to Morgan in my
Hey,
house.
the heck?
Just it's like a tiger sleeping next door in the next house over.
There's like 2 walls between us. You're the louder one. Shut up.
Yeah, that just tells you how bad it is.
Well, now that it's raining, shall we
Head inside. Yeah.
Yes, straight through the mouth here, down the throat.
Yes. Read the warnings as you go in.
God, there's not reading, is there?
Oh, sorry, Xavier. No children allowed.
Oh no.
Excuse me?
It depends. Do you enjoy horror?
Is there something you need to tell me?
What's a swilk?
Oh, we'll tell you when we take the tour. It's part of the museum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll offer you some at the end.
All right.
Exciting.
Come on in, where you can stand there where it's dry, or you can come in here where it's dry.
Please step lively into the chamber.
Elias got employee the month. What a good guy.
Wait.
Yes, Elias. Where is Stanley? There's Stanley. All right. I think we're all here now, right?
I think so.
If you're not here,
Yeah.
say something.
Uh-huh.
You're not here. Say you're not here. All right, we're all here.
I am not here mental. I'm here.
All right. Leave your preconceived notions of the normal world at this very threshold, and enter the world of the mysterious, the unusual, and the odd at BoggOdd Oddities Museum. By entering the museum, you agree management not responsible for any and all incidents herein.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I agree.
Has there been many incidents?
Just a
Yes.
few in other waters, yes.
This is our first tour here at this museum, so we don't have a lot to add to the incidents yet. There's always a chance, though.
So it's been 0 days since our first incident.
Join the buddy system.
Excuse me. Can you remove that from me,
When did
please?
0 days start?
Go on.
Today.
Good day.
Okay.
I'll, go, I'll take one for the team. I'll go in first.
Please step lively into the next room.
What are you gonna
She didn't scream, so it's probably
No
good.
screams, no
Ah!
screams.
Oh, I'm so scared. Sorry.
Oh my
The door will lock on the way in. If you
Hey,
need
this
to
is kind of
exit,
scary.
please see one of us and we'll unlock the door
Right.
for you.
It's like being at
I want to mention the tour may take around an hour or more. If that's a problem for anyone.
I'm fine with that. You guys fine with that? They're cool. They're good.
You're welcome to leave at any time. If it becomes too much for you, or if you have spent too long in here, that's fine. We understand completely. Just let us know.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, we're starting here at the cheese shop. At a blazing hot tropical free port, there stood a quiet specialty cheese shop at the end of an alley. You are probably questioning if it is appropriate to locate a cheese shop in the melting heat. The answer? No. Not because of the heat, however. It was the cats. The cats had taken to begging at the cheese shop. As patrons were leaving, they would kindly drop a crumb or two, leading the cats to wait for the next patron and the next bite of cheese. Eventually, the roof's support beams groaned and popped under the weight of waiting cats. The shop owner attempted to shoo them away at first, but then realized the cats would not touch the crumbs of the most pungent cheeses. A patron remarked, "It's so hot today, the stone walls are almost sizzling." As the patron rounded the corner, the shop owner sprang into action and, gathering the most pungent cheeses, pressed them into the wall where they melted, sticking them on. It really worked. To the cats, the stench of the cheese was so intense, they fled to the far side of the island. The cheese shop owner rested well that evening until suddenly the roof supports began to creak and groan. Running into the dark to chase the cats off the bowing roof, the shop owner caught a glimpse of them in the moonlight. The cats first turned their eyes and then their beaks toward the shop owner. It's then the owner realized the roof was covered not in cats, but in hungry vultures.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
I still like cheese.
I love cheese.
I
Hello,
honestly
vulture.
thought vultures were just going to appear then.
I used to love cheese.
Look at all that cheese.
No.
I don't recommend sniffing the cheeses. Those are actual pungent cheeses. We've
I
made-
don't wanna. I read those signs. I don't wanna stand over that. No. No.
Oh, you're reading the sign. Don't get ahead of the oddities.
I'm sorry.
The oddity here behind me. The great northern factory disaster took place on a particularly cold, dark, rainy evening. The main source of heat in the frozen north was a giant fireplace located below the smokestack here in front of you. The factory backed up to a large rock mountain, and the entrance to a great coal mine was built off the factory down into the depths of the mountain. The top of the mountain was known as a habitat for an assortment of animals. The employees of the factory found a particularly large snake roasting on the coals late one afternoon and proceeded to prepare it for their hot dinner. It wasn't unusual for someone to bring whatever they had to share, although they couldn't determine who brought the snake. They made a feast of the snake anyhow and went back to work. As the evening grew colder and darker, they placed more and more coal into the fire. What no one had realized is the snake, deliciously roasting on the fire, had chased a rather plump sheep from the mountains. The snake and sheep both fell over the edge and landed on top of the smokestack. The snake slithered through, down into the coals below, as the sheep was wedged high above the factory. Toxic smoke had already weakened most of the workers to the point they could not get out by the time the panic began. All but 3 workers were killed in this tragedy. The death toll was said to be near 400 lives, and would remain the largest number of people killed by a single sheep for at least 2 more decades.
Oh my god.
What an evil sheep.
Questions at all?
It's not the sheep's fault, but still, jeez.
Oh,
These signs are just a warning. You don't have anything to fear. I'll explain whole. Part of the problem is not located here.
Did the snake fall first or the sheep fall first?
Oh no, the snake could fit down through the chimney, but the poor sheep who could not fit through the chimney was wedged high above, blocking all of the smoke from leaving the factory. They were overcome.
Okay.
I'm glad we live on an island with no sheep.
That sounds
Well, we
a
don't
bit
have a
to
chimney.
me like the sheep
But-
must have shoved the snake down in there and then blocked it from getting out.
Maybe.
I think
Smart
it was all the
sheep.
sheep's fault.
The sheep was an evil genius.
Oh yeah. Well, it avoided the snake, so maybe it was all intended. It's hard to say. Above me here is a certified giraffe examination chair. It has been placed here as a public service by the Giraffe Handlers Association. When a giraffe needs to be examined for multiple reasons, it is much easier to inspect the giraffe from closer to their height. The doctor will climb up to the chair, and the giraffe will be brought closer for inspection purposes. What type of inspections, you may ask? One purpose is to inspect whether they have the giraffe-like teeth or the less common human-like teeth, of course. But a far more common reason, however, is to see if the ears have been laid with spider eggs again, as giraffe ears are known to be the perfect habitat for spider eggs. Laying their eggs in the giraffe's warm ear hair, they lie forgotten until the time comes for the hatching. If you have giraffes, tame or wild, near your home, be sure they are not shaking their heads frequently. This is the first sign of the spider egg laying having occurred. If your giraffes have ears infested with spider eggs, the time will come that they will hatch, and the giraffe head shaking will deposit hatchlings around and throughout your home.
Horrible.
I'm glad we don't have giraffes on our island.
Oh,
Wait, we do. Oh no.
Oh, we do? They just
Oh,
don't come to our side?
Further inland. What? Further inland is fine.
oh.
Have you been watching for the head shaking now? That's the sign to watch out for. Maybe you're fine and none of them shake their heads and
Well, I'm
it's
gonna be
all-
watching out for it now.
Yes, please. That's part of the warnings.
Yeah, the warnings.
Well, any questions so far?
I know I never want to see a giraffe again.
Uh-huh.
Oh, just watch for the ears and the head shaking. All right, we'll make our way to the next.
I'm not
exam.
watching. I'll be miles away.
Just be wary of sheep. That's all I've learnt from this.
Mm-hmm.
In a far-off kingdom, a rotten king reigned supreme. He was known to frequently decide he had been slighted and place people in prison to be punished or worse. The king unexpectedly ordered particularly complicated feast from his chef, Arthur, in the middle of the night. The chef and the kitchen staff worked frantically, as tired as they were in the middle of the night, to try to create a culinary masterpiece. The feast was a triumph, and the king later sent word to see if he may speak with the chef. Word arrived very early in the morning. The king would be to visit the kitchens within the hour. The kitchen staff readied themselves for the visit. The king arrived with his guards and quietly toured the kitchens as he thoroughly inspected many things. Nothing was said, however. The king looked at his guards as he approached the exit and nodded. The king's guards proceeded to destroy the kitchen's pots and pans and kitchen tools. The guards turned to the chef and said, "The king would like you to know he is displeased with last night's feast. He forgot to serve sea salt instead of salt with his meal." The chef was aghast. He knew he had served sea salt. He had prepared it himself. He only said "aye" before he was cut off and told he was to be removed from the king's staff and to be placed in the prisons to await his punishment. The king felt assured mistakes would no longer be made in his kitchen, and as a test, a few weeks later, he had a brand new feast prepared for the opening of the king's tournament, at the end of which a victorious knight would stand remaining. The king was so unhappy he was slighted again, and his favorite didn't win the competition, that he rushed the entrant who was left, dagger in hand. The entrant flicked away the dagger and gave the king what was intended for the entrant. The king, now removed from life and power, the entrant made their way to the throne and was seated. The shocked crowd dropped the facade of reverence for the old rotten king and warmly cheered a new powerful leader. The guards, also shocked, but no longer hiding their contempt for the rotten king, said, "All hail the new king," to which the entrant removed the helmet and said, "Queen." "All hail the new queen," said the guards. "What would you have us do, your majesty?" they asked. "Firstly, bring me Arthur, the chef from the prisons." Arthur approached the new queen and quietly asked, "Daughter, what has happened? And are those my pots and pans you are wearing?" "There's time to explain it all," she said. "They sent them to me at the blacksmith shop for repair. They didn't know I was your daughter." She smiled pleasantly at her father as they waved toward the crowd over the tournament field and the cold dead body of the former king. She turned to him and she said, "Father, you always said your pots and pans would bring us good fortune. You just didn't know how right you were."
Oh, that's a great story.
Good on her.
Brilliant.
That king did that. He sounds horrible.
Any questions at all?
Yeah, was she a kind ruler? Be better than the other
Oh.
king?
Very much so. Well, the kingdom lived in peace and harmony there forward.
Oh, that's great. That's always good to know.
Yeah, good
Have
on
you
her.
got any blueprints for that armor?
Oh, no, we don't. You're welcome to study it if you like and try to figure out how things are put together. We're not really sure ourselves. It arrived as she had intended to put it together.
That's so cool.
But it wasn't that comfortable though. For her to be
Yeah, I was
fighting
thinking I don't know if I
that.
could find some stuff in my size for that.
I might come back later and study it once I've got a bit more training.
Oh, sure. You're very welcome to.
As we
I'm
step
still
into
just thinking about wearing pots during a heat wave.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh,
as we step into the next room, please do not panic. In case of a fire emergency, we will show you to the nearest exit.
Yeah, speaking of heat, let's make our way to the next exhibit.
Out of the frying pan and into the fire.
You read my mind.
Oh. On a roasting hot desert island, it rarely rained. House fires were happening frequently. To help combat the fires, the residents used what they had to craft 2 fire carts. These carts, each pulled by the best rhinosaur the island could breed, were filled with water and pulled location to location. Raspberry the monkey, found wandering an island used as a turtle habitat, was a pet of the head of the fire cart haulers. Out on one of their first patrols, they discovered something unusual. Raspberry had previously been trained to pull a cart. They decided that given his constant insistence that he be handed the reins, Raspberry would be trained to drive the rhinosaur of cart number 2. This worked more than well. Raspberry was already a complete natural at cart handling, needed no instruction at all, in fact. They even created a small seat just for him. This allowed the others to focus more on the fires. Months passed with the carts racing to fire after fire, Raspberry excitedly guiding the cart all the way. One afternoon, after a particularly difficult morning of fighting a long series of fires, the bell rang out. It was time to ready the carts and Raspberry couldn't be located. The head of the fire cart haulers went to Raspberry's room and found the monkey asleep in bed. Knowing the poor creature must be exhausted after the morning they had another member of the Firecaught Hollers pull the reins. They left without tired Raspberry and headed to the fire. Along the way, they spotted an unreported house fire and slowed cart number 2 here beside me to water it before catching up again to cart number 1. While spraying the house, the front door burst open and a soaking wet Raspberry, extinguished torch in hand, emerged. Not believing Raspberry could be both asleep and at the scene of the fire as well, his bed was checked. Neatly shaped and arranged was a pair of trousers made to look exactly like a sleeping monkey. Raspberry was wise a great many things, cart hauling and deception being among his greatest talents. He was returned to the offices of the Turtle Sanctuary where he was found to retire from his very busy life. The fire stopped overnight, and the Firecaught Haulers were pretty quiet until one afternoon a flare was fired and a representative of a neighboring island had arrived, wanting advice on fire carts, for they had been plagued with fires recently. They also needed a very small seat to put in the front because they had the oddest thing, a monkey who knew how to drive a cart.
Ho, ho, ho.
Wow.
Ow.
Yeah.
Thing.
Any questions at all?
What's that monkey?
That monkey represents Raspberry the monkey.
But very
So
close.
It's definitely.
Uh,
So it's not Raspberry the monkey.
No. Oh, that's definitely not Raspberry the monkey.
no, not Raspberry.
No. Good representation, though. What are you looking at? Did you see the monkey looking around?
Yeah. Did you see that the tail is dipped in like charcoal?
Oh, the ash. I think everything's fine. The monkey has been listening to the training. I think everything's fine.
Okay, keep an eye on the monkey, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not getting a monkey. Just the off chance of, you know.
No, I don't want a monkey.
Yep.
Careful with behind, I guess.
Oh, God.
Don't fall in the water. No, this is not a tavern filled with delicious libations. In fact, if you had been here years ago, you would be dead. It wasn't unusual a long time ago to place additives into your spirits to give them an interesting afternote, be it bitter, sweet, or bittersweet. It was an unusually crowded evening the night before and would be again at a combination inn and tavern. The tavern keep was too busy to go for the ingredients for a top note to add to the drink for the next evening. The tavern keep's sibling was sent to pick up the rare, delicious, green, sweet ingredient, Magistine. The herbologist was also out, however, and in their stead, their apprentice was working. The assistant herbologist mistook the requested Magistine for the more common pest remover, Maggot Stem. Nearly identical in both appearance and flavor, coupled with the unfortunate similarity name, the switch was made. What's that? Someone have a question?
No, I think you just gagged.
Oh. The maggot stem was delivered to the tavern and used to give the libations their signature smooth sweetness. By accident, of course. As is custom with a spirit house attached to overnight accommodations, the drink poured heavily and quickly. The hallucinations began about an hour into the evening. The vomiting began shortly thereafter. Ingestion of maggot stem was said to produce hallucinations such as liquids running down the wall, inanimate objects breathing, skies filled with flying horror, and the mistaking of human form for animal. The chaos of those visions, coupled with the vomiting, began a putrid battle. Within the tavern were all fought for their very lives. Any who made it outside were driven back in by the visions in the sky. Those victors who survived the vomitous battle were said to lay unconscious on these very floorboards until their heart slowed to death.
Oh God.
Oh, it's awful.
Oh, yes.
That's why the floorboards are green. It was all the sickness.
Yeah.
That's the color of it all.
Do they still make that stuff?
A good question. I'm not sure. It was an accident to have mixed the maggot stem into the libations at all to begin with. So if anyone's doing it intentionally, it may be a nefarious reason.
Yeah, what are you like asking for a friend? That's really you know.
Yeah, that's a weird question, Hal. Oh.
Yeah.
No, I was just making sure I don't want to accidentally drink it myself somewhere at a tavern.
Oh, no, you just have to make sure it's magistine and not maggot stem.
You know how to test. You just get someone else to drink it first.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start doing that.
And then you wait about an hour and see if they ask them, what do you see in the sky? Is it beautiful? Do the clouds look nice? And then you wait and watch.
I'm always reading the ingredient labels from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't blame you.
Yes.
And then double checking.
And making sure that they haven't just emptied it and poured something else in.
And
It really makes me question all the drinks people have been giving me that I don't really know.
Yeah, the same here. I'm thinking a lot of the bottles don't have the ingredient list on them, and I've just drank some of this stuff.
Why don't you just...
I mean, you seem fine, right?
I mean, to be fair, these two have drank most
die.
of the same stuff as me, so we're still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, go us.
Maybe we've all drank it and don't know it, and this is all a mass hallucination.
Oh my God!
You're
What if I'm
imagining
imagining
all
all
of this,
this? Oh no!
Put all this together. My hallucination. I had to build my own hallucination. How horrendous.
Oh no.
I think we're fine. Across the hole here is another oddity. If you've been to a hot, humid tropical island, you know all too well the heat can be unrelenting. Two elderly brothers were looking for their lost goat near their home when they stumbled upon something. A very large abandoned well. The well had run low of water, but inside had a beautiful pool at the bottom. The brothers knelt beside the well lid above, and when they opened it, they could feel the cool, refreshing air blow past them. They thought about and discussed that well the remainder of the day and the next night. They awoke the next day with a plan to put a ladder down the well and see what was inside. They slipped from the final ladder rung into the cool, dark water and enjoyed the most luxuriously pleasant soak in neck-high, perfectly chilled water. The water drained a bit more over time, and instead of floating, they had to kneel or sit on the bottom of the well. This did not suit their aging frames, and they began to talk once again of a plan. It was decided to make it a bit more comfortable, and they moved some of their furniture inside, using ropes and a goat, which was finally found in time, to lower things down from the hatch above. This would be their final plan. Their friend, who knew of the well and, having not seen the brothers for some time, began to worry and look for them. When they approached the well, they could already tell something was wrong. The scent of mold, mildew, and end of life met the friend well before the well. For you see, as they were soaking cool, damp richness of the well, their furniture was too. The introduction of the furniture began a growth of mold and mildew and rot that first tainted the well and then outright poisoned it. As the furniture was slowly mildewing and molding from the outside, the cool, damp, dark back of the chairs were growing a deadly fungus. Before that fungus was discovered, it had already started to emit toxic spores, which had filled the well and the two elderly brothers.
Wow.
So if they hadn't took furniture down there?
Well, you know, there's a reason that the well is nice and clean on the inside, and you don't really drag furniture down there to soak up the water and
Yeah,
start to
seems like a choice.
Yeah, I've never done that in a well. I have sat like a chair out in the ocean and fished, but never like done it in a well.
No. It's a bad choice. It's so damp down there, and it's that enclosed environment, and
In the
can't really
dark.
you
Yeah.
can't stop all that from wanting to grow. Look at the state of those chairs over there. That's not actual mold and mildew. We've painted those chairs to look like they're molding and mildewing, so that it doesn't offer any sort of actual harm to the public. We don't want to grow our own mold down there.
Oh no.
Well, yeah, we appreciate that.
Although that pirate, Captain Elias, did want that red chair. That molded red chair on our ship.
It's not our Elias, so everyone knows that's not the one who is employee of the month. There's a Captain Elias on the seas as well. We think they may be related since they have the same name. That's how it works.
Oh,
Yes.
And that's funny because there's a lady that we met quite a while ago. She's called Madeline, and I'm Madeline. So, and I saw her again yesterday. She's now my pen pal. It's kind of exciting. But yeah, we're both, Madeline. It's funny how things work out.
It's very similar, yes.
Yeah.
You were almost related.
I
You've
feel
been
like
Madeline and Madeline, or Madeline and Madeline.
yeah.
oh, I have a pen pal named Elias. I'm kind of curious if that's who I write to.
Well, there's two choices. A horrendous pirate at the seas, or employee of the month.
Oh.
You could always play 20 questions if you like.
You could say, do your employers think you're very good at your job?
Oh, I think
You
I'm
know,
Just
just
tell them you're excited you got Employee of the Month, and like you're so thrilled about it, and see if you.
You're excited, yeah.
Like, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I mean,
it's a good idea.
if it's a pirate captain, then he's not going to be like, he's not employed by anyone. He's a pirate captain.
No telling. That's two choices. Two very different choices.
He may be prone to mysteries as well, so he may answer that he is Employee of the Month. You never know.
True.
True.
Well, we're going to skip this one for now. Let's head straight to the... Well... I wanted to visit one while it's dark.
Yeah.
We just left the well.
Yeah, we have to pass all the other ones. We'll go ahead. We'll follow through. Far beneath a beautiful country estate lie a strange fate for those unfortunate enough to have encountered a pair of mad, noble women. They had a secret which would have run the blood cold of those in the aristocratic circles they kept themselves in. The mad women had developed an unusual diet preference. Human toenails. Yes. Half-hearted soldier, drunken sailor, or sea wench, they preyed upon all. They went out into the dark night to round up victims. They would wait outside tavern and dance hall for those inebriated enough not to put up a fight. A bag over the head and about 6 spins around was usually enough to knock even the stoutest person unconscious when they had been plied with enough drink. They would be locked into the chambers here on either side of me, their feet scrubbed, cleaned, and the toenails carefully trimmed so as not to waste any of the precious resource. I know what you're wondering. Why didn't they just pull them out at the root? After all, that's the sensible thing to do. Well, the sisters weren't monsters. They were just so very hungry. Each victim awakened dumped on the outskirts of town, shoeless, sockless, pants rolled to the knee. But their feet were beautifully scrubbed, and their toenails were perfectly trimmed. The sisters were caught when they mistook a pair of sleepy officers for inebriated and were overcome by them. Threatened with having their toenails pulled out at the root, because it's a sensible thing to do, they confessed for the entire ruse. Afterward, they fell from grace and out of high society. They took on new identities where they began to work in a wash house, trimming the nails of those who came to bathe, thereby continuing to feed their insane and insatiable hunger.
Okay, that's so
So-
weird.
The cannibalistic toenail eaters.
They just like the toenail only. They didn't really eat on the toes or anything. They didn't take the toenail straight from the toe. They'd like them
But
trimmed and nicely
it's-
served.
It's still cannibalistic.
Well,
I mean,
sure.
to be fair, I can understand why they didn't rip it out of the stem, because, you know, then people would not have toenails anymore and you wouldn't be able to eat any.
That makes all the sense. I haven't even thought of that. But of course, I'm not myself trying to decide how to take out the toenails, so I don't
On
really
top
give it a lot of thought.
On top of that, eventually nobody would have toenails apart from the sisters, and they'd be caught anyway.
They'd be caught, found out. Look at you. What are you doing with toenails left? You're the one, aren't you? You're the mad one. Get away from the mad woman.
I won't say anything about us getting a nail salon in the town of Five Torches anytime soon.
Oh, we're getting one? Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm gonna give that a miss.
yeah.
I'd like to go. I could use a good.
I mean, it's
practice on
not
my
like they're
feet.
eating my toes, so I mean, is it that big of a deal? I guess you're doing somebody a service and they're getting their food.
You're just leaving a little toenail behind. You're waking up, feet perfectly trimmed. Beautiful.
It's a bit like going to the barber shop. You don't really care what they do with the clippings after, do you?
Yeah, some people eat hair.
Yeah.
Everyone just leaves it there, right? Do you take your hair with you when you leave the barber shop? You just leave it there, like, just abandon it.
But if you did take your hair with you, wouldn't you want to stuff it in a nice cushion mattress or in a seat cushion?
Most beautiful stuffing. If you have any
Might
human...
make a good. Oh,
I mean, if it's long enough, you can use it for sewing.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Could make a nice trim work for a dress or something as well. Braid it together and stitch it on. There's all sorts of uses. Don't abandon it. Don't leave it behind. Use it for stuffing. Make a nice cushion for yourself. Did you know that you're not allergic to your own hair? Think of it now. You feel the hair along the sides of your face, right? Does it itch? Does it constantly annoy you? No. It's your hair.
Sometimes.
What?
Depends on the wind.
Yeah, it
I mean,
kind of
I've-
gets
I've-
the way sometimes, and you know.
Oh, that's true.
I've heard men complain about the beard sometimes.
Ugh.
mine does get a bit itchy.
But then again, if the beard is scratchy, it's usually a sign that they left food behind and it's grub for later.
That's
Well,
kind
yeah.
of horrific. What about an entire chair stuffed with beard hair?
No.
Sounds like
That's a lot of
beer
food.
there.
That would
I
take a
do-
long time or a lot of donation. Maybe that's why the Navy wanted so much hair.
God, I just thought about that. I was literally thinking the same thing. They kept asking about cutting their hair.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where all that hair's coming from? From
They
the
cut
Navy.
hair of the cadet, don't they?
Oh, that makes all
Oh, yeah.
the sense. Take the hair from them and then use it for whatever purposes you had in mind.
Does the Admiral have a all-hair chair?
Maybe. I mean, if anyone's gonna have it, it's gonna be him, right?
Stuffed
Yeah.
Oh, I've got to ask him now.
It's worth an
He might have
investment.
his. He might
Seems
have
a
the
bit
sails
exotic.
made out of hair.
Oh, lightweight, yeah.
Water repellent somewhat.
It
Ooh,
does blow in the wind rather nicely, yeah.
that could be nice. A new beautiful island freeport was too close to a deep-water ocean trench. The frequent ship traffic to and from the island angered the residents of the deep waters. Many different creatures made their way from the depths to investigate the new disturbance. as the swirling waters mixed warm water down into the formerly cool trench, as well as introducing new types of detritus into the depths. Mermaids from the trench seemed to grow much angrier, becoming a constant menacing presence in the waters surrounding Freeport. To teach the citizens defensive tactics to protect themselves against the angry mermaids, as well as to ensure people would not fear nearing the profitable Freeport. The Freeport opened a training institute just off the shore. Seen before you here are the standard issue training form, as well as beside me, the specialized mermaid training form developed at the institute. Normally housed in deeper water, it was used to teach citizen techniques to avoid or defend against angry mermaids. The mermaids seemed to realize something was occurring at the Freeport and really began to increase the violence. Eventually, they began to investigate the institute itself, making their way to the shoreside where the training forms were stationed in the water. Instead of damaging the training forms, the mermaids began to study them, possibly believing them to be some sort of figure in reverence of themselves. It is believed that they took this as a sign the mermaid was a respected neighbor and led them to stop their attacks completely. Unintentionally, the forms worked to protect the citizens. No one trained to defend themselves ever had to, and the mermaid forms were left in the waters as a sign of continued mutual respect. Luckily for the Freeport, the mermaids had not witnessed the defensive techniques used on these forms.
Oh, happy coincidence.
No, not to keep ending about the same thing, but these could also use a bit more hair.
Oh, you know, that's true. Did you notice the little eyes and eyelashes on each side of the barrel there? They really went all in on making it look beautiful like a mermaid.
Wow.
Yeah, it has the very long eyelashes over the eyes.
Very, very long.
Oh, pretty interesting.
They are long.
Yeah, that's how the mermaids are. Have you ever met a mermaid? Did you look at her eyelashes? Take a good look if you ever meet one.
Never met one.
The last one I met tried to drown me.
What?
Same.
Oh no. Were you near a Freeport at the time?
No, I was just sailing around in the middle of the sea.
Oh my. Well, I
What do you
don't
mean,
know.
did they visit the Freeport?
Oh god.
Could be. It's hard to say.
Are you suggesting we put one of these on our ships to let them know that we are friendly?
It may work. They're used to seeing them under the water, however, so I'm not sure if they would recognize a form above water as some type of mermaid. It's hard
Maybe
to
they'll
say.
think we're like, you know, poaching them and be angry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. A lot to think about.
Make a boat in the same shape as that, and then just make it a mega mermaid.
Maybe you could use a form such as that as a figurehead on your ship, half in the water, half out. That's sort of how the mermaids are, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I've never seen one. Norman claimed to have been kissed by one, but pretty sure he was on drugs.
Drinking the Majesty.
Oh god.
A skilled blacksmith made a fortune on board a ship, repairing broken old wood stoves on a frozen polar region. A fortune he intended to keep. Looking around his ship one day, he realized he had a dozen wood stoves, and no one had claimed them after they had been repaired. Needing to both remove the extra weight from the ship and also find a more suitable place to keep his treasures safe, he left the polar region for his home on a warm Elephant Island. He owned a small piece of the island that included a swamp The swamp was home to many horrendous beasts, the least of which was an endless amount of spiders. He knew the perfect location for a hideaway for his treasure trove was a well-hidden cavern on the edge of the swamp. You would not see it unless you fell into it. Covered in vines and growth, it was the perfect place, except it was the home to thousands of those fast-moving spiders. But he knew spiders feared one thing above all others: a larger, faster spider. To attempt to stop the spiders from living in the caverns, as well as to add an additional shock should any unfortunate soul stumble into the caverns themselves, he carted those old forgotten wood stoves into the darkened mouth of the cavern to create this monstrosity before you. Welding stoves together and carving the stone plinth from the cavern rock itself, he successfully created a large spider to frighten all other spiders, and those other spiders fled in fear, leaving him the freedom to place his treasure deep in the now delightfully spider-free cavern. He went back to making more and more treasure, and readied himself for a return to his cavern of joy. Upon his return to the island, he was looking forward to that spiderless cavern after he had fought his way through them in the swamp. He arrived at the cavern mouth to find it filled with elephants, bursting at the seams with elephants. They chased him from the entrance all the way back to his ship, over and over. For you see, the only thing keeping the elephants out of the cavern were the spiders, and the only thing luring them into the cavern was the new multiple-armed scratching post someone had placed there for them to use.
Oh dear. See, that's elephants all over, that is.
There's so many
Hate them.
arms there
Hate
for them.
elephants.
They can get all the edges with all these extra appendages. They get behind the ears and stuff. It's really hard to get them out of there once they get involved with this thing.
Makes sense.
Rightfully, we don't have them here on the small island. They're only over there, way over there on the main island. We made sure not to have any windows, so they can't look in and see this device in here and try to make their
You'd
way
never get
in.
rid of them.
Yeah.
Only a matter of time.
Yes, they come two at a time over there, it seems like.
I said two at a time. You stumbled over that because you were so concerned. I am too. I don't like it. They bury their eggs along the shore. They use their tusks to dig the trenches, and they put the eggs in and they tamp. That's why they walk in the circle all the time. They're stomping the ground down so you can't dig the eggs up later.
And they, knock down all your trees that you like.
They don't need trees. They don't need those at all.
Alright, we
They're
didn't
just-
have any here on this island until someone came by in a sloop and dropped them off. Now
Right.
they've been spreading.
I was sure someone put them here. There were none anywhere on this island, and it's very small. We could see them if they were here or hear them. Feel the ground shaking. There were none. And now they're everywhere, it seems like. Two at a time.
There may be a dozen over there now.
No, people keep just transporting that nuisance and animals and making them all a problem.
Hey, that's no way to speak about Hal. He's not a nuisance.
We're moving forward. If anyone needs a snack, we're here at the snack center. You're welcome to whatever you like in the food barrels here to help you not feel so puny. We know we've been on a tour for a little while.
Popcorn, get your popcorn here.
Oh yes, you have
There's
popcorn
no
available.
maggots them in here, right?
No, nothing in it.
No, just the basic items and some popcorn. Get your popcorn.
There's some milk in there. It's been washed. We washed the milk here. We don't want that dirty, unwashed kind.
What do you wash it with?
Oh, we've been through the washing milk thing, haven't we?
Rub it
Okay,
against
okay.
itself to wash it.
It's yeah, okay.
You wash the milk with the milk. That way it gets all the dirt out of it without introducing anything unsavory to the equation.
Right, doesn't tend to water it down or not.
Oh, no, you don't want to do that.
Wait, this looks familiar. I saw one of these earlier.
Give me that thing.
No one stick your hand through the bars. This one is legitimately. Well, you'll get the story here in a second.
I will get to the store. Just stay back. Don't get close. I'm as close as you can get. Now, see, I can't even reach my arm that way. When everyone's done dining, we'll continue with the tour. We're a little over halfway now. There's much left. Alright, is everyone ready to continue?
Ready?
Ready.
Right, we continue here. Here's what was once a beautiful, marvelous circus organ. The organ was a modern wonder. It needed no one to play it, and it had no keys to play, even if you'd wanted to. It produced sound through steam in a series of reused water and stovepipes, and could play the most beautiful melodies. It was pulled on 3 carts behind 3 elephants as the circus parade arrived in the towns, playing all the while to let the residents know the circus was arriving. The circus fell to ruin after the death of the ringmaster and owner. The ringmaster was thrown higher than the high wire act one evening by a pair of elephants looking to escape circus life. The audience, seeing the tragedy unfold, sent out warnings to all they knew. Avoid the circus at all risk of peril. The organ was purchased at an auction of items from the circus by a group of ne'er-do-wells with a plan. They would travel with the reassembled pipe organ, port to port, playing friendly melodies for tips throughout the day. They would quieten as the shops closed and people headed into their nearby homes. Then late in the hours of the evening, they would stoke the fires of the steam heaters until they were raging. The beautiful music produced with gentle steam pressure became a howling, screeching, clangorous noise. This caused the residents to flee their homes in terror. Horses and animals would batter their stalls, not knowing what beast was capable of such noises. The ne'er-do-wells would slow the fires eventually, but only to do this: issue a proclamation. The fires would be stoked repeatedly until the township was able to come up with a predetermined fee to pay the ne'er-do-wells to leave their port in peace. The ne'er-do-wells landed in a port, as usual, one afternoon. They played the beautiful music until the shops closed and the residents began to leave, and then they waited. And they went to the box on the top deck to get the wood to stoke the fires. Instead of the residents being quietly asleep, the entire town were standing row after row, lining the edge of the harbor, staring directly at the vessel. The water was already flowing into the ship by the time the ne'er-do-wells could react. You see, the residents had been made aware of this approaching ship 2 days prior and had already formed a nice plan of their own. The pipe organ was dismantled and trod upon, resulting in these warped, discolored remaining pipes you see behind me here today.
Wow.
Huh.
Well, at least they kind of got punished for what they were doing in the end.
That's true. They got what was coming to them.
Me.
Oh, does it still work?
No. Unfortunately, it's lost some of the pipes. You'll see there's spaces and issues. Some of these pipes have been severely discolored and we're not sure why. And then, if you notice, the larger steam pipes in the back are all warped and twisted. If it did play, it probably wouldn't play the music like the circus intended. They're also beginning to rust a bit around the edges and such. Follow me to the next chamber. Be careful not to fall into the grave.
Okay. Didn't see the gravestone till then.
Oh, wow. I didn't bring any black clothes.
Below us here lies the coffin of the final husband of the widow of Shallow Creek. She was called the widow because she had buried 12 husbands. 11 of them were deceased. She begged for help from the townspeople. She said she was being haunted by the vengeful ghost of her most recent husband. The widows of the town vowed to help one of their own and formed a group which would sit in the home of the widow while she tried to rest. It was a quick rotation. You see, they all eventually stared straight again into the eyes of the man they used to know. Each night, someone sat with her. Just before the skies began to lighten, there was a shuffling behind them. One after another, widows fled the still darkened, creaking home. Once that group was exhausted, the widows still pleaded to the town for help. The young single men were sent next, as they were thought to be less prone to fright. Same story, however. They all ran for their lives after gazing into the eyes of the dead man once again. The oldest woman in town, thought far too frail, asked, "May I go next?" She sat slumped forward, next to the warm fire in a chair, eyes closed, back to the room, when the ghost appeared. His long bony fingers reaching, clawing, slid up over the back of the chair and around the woman's frail, thin neck. From outside the home, a blood-curdling scream that chased wolves back into their dens was cut short. The townsfolk worried for the frail lady, but humoring her, had their ears open for her call. A number of them reached the steps to the cabin at the same time, and they clambered to the front door, flinging it open. Standing tall over two bodies was the frail old woman. What no one realized that the oldest woman in town was also the wisest. Unable to sleep well in the cold nights due to her old bones, she slept during the warmer daylight hours. Every night she sat up and watched the dead husband of the widow of Shallow Creek creep into house after house in town. For as people went to sit with the terrified widow, her very much alive husband was looting the houses of those who were going to help her. He would arrive later and show what he had taken to his wife. The oldest woman in town went prepared, however, rolling pin in sleeve, to expose the ruse of the widow of Shallow Creek.
Bravo on your acting skills there, BoggOdd.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
I'm glad she managed to catch them.
Yeah.
I'm glad too. I'm glad I play a convincing elderly woman. It's not easy.
Well, you are elderly.
You're elderly. Deep in a prison lay a cold, dark, windowless cell. A guard routinely traversed the corridors. One prisoner they hadn't planned on having, and didn't know the history of, was a magician, trained in the art of lock-picking. Picking the lock came easily enough, but getting out of the area proved much more difficult, as the cell was at the end of a U-shaped corridor. The prisoner had nothing to do. Prisoner had nothing but time as they sat in waiting. Day in, day out, they watched the guards and finally thought of a plan. The guards always took the same path through the loop, and they realized they could never go towards the guard, or they would be seen. But if they could manage to slip out ahead of the guard, they may just make it out ahead of them. One problem was the bed would surely be found empty as they were on their way to the exit and freedom, raising the alarm bell. In an effort to fool the guards, they began to put away slices of bread and sausages in their pillowcase. This plan was nearly ruined twice on an unplanned laundry day when they had to gorge themselves on the food that they had stashed away. Finally, a dark, moonless night came. Dark enough for the plan to work. They neatly arranged the old bits of bread and sausages to form a vague figure, just enough for the guards to see a body asleep in the bed, and to give them time to slip away. The plan went smoothly, and the prisoner was able to escape perfectly. The guards eventually discovered the ruse, and knowing the head of the guards and knowing what they had to do, they sat down for a most unwanted feast. Welcome to take a look at the body, if you like.
It's kind of clever, isn't it?
It is.
That is smart.
Bread is most of the body.
Oh, that is very nice. That's so clever.
I've
What
had to
again,
fool
sorry?
the guards somehow. In a darkened, moonless night, you would almost mistake it for a human form.
Not sure I'd want to eat that though to keep my job.
No.
Uh-huh.
Are you ready?
So, here before us is the interior of the city offices of the Butcher of Butterfly Lane, as he was later known. Shown on the table beside me are the actual repurposed tools that he used. Fancying himself a dentist, he was able to convince the local populace that he was legitimate. Using a plant known for its hallucinogenic properties, he was able to cause patients to, in essence, mentally leave their bodies while they were placed on the table here before him. He would then remove all of the teeth of the victim, promising only the repairs to their teeth. It was so much easier to convince them afterward all their teeth were bad, and therefore no work which he couldn't actually do to the teeth need be performed. Human teeth were a prized, highly valued form of carotenoid, similar to bone, but with a much sturdier structure once refined properly. The fraudulent dentist would leave his office early in the day. That was thought odd by the community, considering how many of them desperately needed dental work. He had a nefarious reason for always leaving early. He was tainting the town's water supply with ground-up giant squid innards. The innards still contained the powerful acid that the squid would use to break down the sharp shells that they ingest in their feeding cycle. And even once ground up and dispersed, the innards still had enough acidic quality to weaken the teeth of the city dwellers to the point they needed dental work, and thereby supplying the dentist with the teeth that he so needed. Ah!
Oh my god.
Okay, that was creepy.
Are you okay?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. It's the clockwork. Sometimes it's wound a little tight.
Beware of the clockworks.
Be wary. Do you have any clockworks in your town? If you do, you need to be cautious around them.
And also
I'm
make sure that they're not bobbing up and down at the shimmer.
They don't move a lot when you're not looking at them.
Oh, we don't have any. I'm gonna make sure we don't ever get any now.
I'm wondering what kind of technology is this? I never seen anything like it.
You haven't seen the clockworks before.
Uh,
You,
No.
they
My
have a
first time
large
too.
mechanism in the back, and you wind them up, and after they're wound, they have movement to them. They don't move much when you're not watching them. I'll show you. Let me wind it here in the back.
just be
Right.
careful. That head did pop off earlier.
Yeah, we have to be a little bit careful. It's we'll get to that eventually.
It's really cool.
Yeah, they have a little switch in the back. You can change the movements on them.
Wow. And
They make sounds as well, which is unusual in our opinion.
And if you look at them just right, they're looking back at you. And growing hair.
So they move and talk? Yeah, no thank you. That's a no for me.
Sorry.
that's
Well, all sorts of unusual things.
that must be some sorcery, some
There's a
magic.
spider, I think.
Yes.
Shit, spider. If you got it, make sure you got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Thanks.
Oh, it looks like it's winding down there.
I think it's wound out. We're not gonna wind it again. just for the evening. We're gonna let it wind down for the evening, if that's all right with everyone.
Probably for the best, yeah.
All right, thank you. In a remote cabin, something unusual happened. The owner of the cabin grew older and more tired. As the years were catching up to him, he thought he needed a way to bring vigor back to his life. He found a place where he could, for a price, order a tincture, promising to bring just that to him. He placed the order, gave his address, and was told to wait 6 nights, and he would hear a loud bang on his door. He wasn't to look out for the courier, only to wait quietly on the 6th night. On the arranged night, he sat patiently waiting. A loud bang was heard at the darkest portion of the night, nearly jumping from his body. He realized only then that he was a bit stronger still than he realized. He waited a moment, then opened the door to retrieve the package bound in hides and tied to a large stone. He thought the bottle was unusually shiny, until he realized a portion of the shine was coming from inside the bottle. He swirled the bottle in his fingers and stared at the cork top. He thought of his plan, and he glanced up at the portrait of his loved one. He realized that this bottle may hold more than he bargained for. What if it turned back his aging? What if it stopped him aging completely? Could he decide when he was through with the powerful elixir? He sighed and realized, now that he held the power in his hand, what he missed wasn't youth. It was what was part of his youth, and that was not coming back. Angry mostly at himself, he flung the bottle into the fireplace, coating the back of it. The fireplace grew and changed and roared like a tiger and spit flames across the room, eventually settling back down again into a normal fireplace. He wondered what magic was in that tincture, and he vowed to himself he would never again try to recapture that which is meant to be left in the past.
Probably a good idea.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you really nailed it there. I get feelings like that too. Like, miss what was happening in my youth, yeah.
Any questions at all?
Who's the picture of?
A picture of his loved one. We don't have any more information beyond that.
Hmm.
Any other questions? Right, we'll move forward.
pretty incredible, isn't it?
A packed cargo freighter named the Sea Slicer sailed through a fog-shrouded sea. It lurched high and low in the sea, crates groaning at its sides. On board, amongst the crew, stood a mere deckhand. The ship passed through a shimmer. A mysterious event occurred. Every person, in fact every creature everywhere, disappeared, except for the deckhand. Calling out for anyone else, he realized he was totally alone. In fear for the crates, the contents, and the ship itself, the deckhand began to panic. He didn't understand the workings of the ship enough to get the ship under control, and without a crew to pull the sails and manage the ship's wheel, it seemed a task that could not be accomplished. "Hello? Hello? Help!" he pleaded. His plea was heard by the only other thing that inhabited the world. The figure stood just before him on the other side of the cabin door. But he could immediately tell it was not human. It had no facial features. In fact, it really had no features at all. The ship careened out of control, and just as the figure reached through the doorway, the ship crashed on the shore of a desolate island. The deckhand was thrown overboard into the water just by the shoreline. While running from ship, figure, and deckhand, the deckhand began to realize he wasn't breathing normally. With every breath he took, it grew shallower and shallower. The further he made it from the figure, the less he could breathe. The world grew darker and darker until he finally went unconscious. The deckhand awakened to find himself all the way back where the voyage began. But cruise ship and cargo were never seen again. They say the shimmer figure waits just over the shimmer for its next crew. Will you be the only one it spares, or will you never be seen again?
That's absolutely terrifying.
God.
Well, thank you. I'm never going through a shipment again.
Oh, but we have to.
Maybe
Oh,
that's
really
what knocks us
help
off of the
it.
ship
yeah.
sometime.
I live here now.
Just be
Yeah,
very
I-
cautious out there on the seas.
Now, there's some
we,
lovely space here on the island.
we
Uh,
actually have a similar story to that with the shimmer.
What? Tell us.
Went through a shimmer, and there ended up being 2 ships with 2 sets of crew.
What in the world?
Oh,
And
Sounds...
one crew was asleep, and one crew was awake.
Oh,
They were,
Bogg,
that
write this
sounds
down.
like the shimmer figure's work to me.
Yeah.
It was like a cursed ship. That ship was.
It's like that the
Yeah.
shimmer figure's looking for crew, and if they can have 2 of each of us, that could be a lot more crew.
oh, hey, that's what keeps happening to you guys.
I
They're
wonder
trying to
what's
drag
going
you
on.
through, and they like drag you off the ship.
So I'm thinking they're trying to get us. And
I was thinking more about the time that we had that nightmare that we like went through the shimmer and the ship was gone, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
and then everything was fine, but like everything was gone, and
That's-
it was like time had gone back.
We were in the
That's-
sea and we had to swim all the way to an island, and
We all had the same
No,
nightmare.
The figure doesn't need ships. It's looking for crew.
Oh,
Yeah, Bagatha and I are twins, and so that makes doubles for
There's
us.
already 2 of us.
Yes.
And then if there's 2 of each of us, that makes 4 for the shimmer figure. We
Yes.
need to be cautious about this. I
Yes.
haven't thought this through.
I'll put it in my notes.
as if we didn't have enough trouble with shimmers.
I know.
just be aware though, the one of the copies is a future version of yourself, and one is a past version of
Wow.
yourself.
A future version that's probably already encountered the figure. And you're just catching up to the whole story. That's worrisome. I'd rather be the figure ahead of the story, so I already knew what was happening, and not just the unwitting figure watching the whole thing.
That's the thing. You're not the future version.
Yeah, and look at you. You live in the past.
Are you sure we have to go through a shimmer?
More than one. Yeah.
I've heard it's also modifying people's aging processes and things when they encounter the shimmer. Perhaps it's trying to turn the elderly, such as BoggOdd and myself, backward in time, making you a younger, more vibrant crew member, or whatever they have planned.
What if the shimmer youth from one person making you old and gives it
Raylan,
to another,
welcome.
making them young?
Thank you for the
Oh.
raid.
It's trying to even the score. Oh,
And that must be one of those things that makes me feel
It's
a bit older
finally
whenever I go
happened.
through one. My bones get a bit
Museum's open.
more creaky and a bit more tired.
no.
Thanks for the raid.
Maybe there's
I
only
get
so
bad
many times
knees
you can
from-
go through.
Yeah, the knees are first to go, that's for sure.
You're meeting yourself when you cross the shimmer, and you're already waiting over there for you. Anything could be happening in between. We need to be very cautious of these shimmers. Spread the word. Tell them to come here and hear the warnings for themselves.
So I have a question. If you go through the shimmer and you meet yourself, what would be the first words that you would say to yourself?
I would say, well, there you finally are. What took you so long?
I'm probably, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was gonna say more along the lines of the fuck.
Yeah.
I think I'd say sucks to suck.
Yeah, you would.
And maybe when do I get a day off?
Oh, you gotta ask Doris for that.
Oh, I'd ask if I got paid yet.
Yeah, that'd be nice too.
The worst thing is in the future you had the day off, and you're the one just now catching up. Oh, it's horrendous. It's worse than we all thought.
I think we need to move on from the shimmer monster before I start crying. Pressing.
Yeah, the longer I'm here, I'm just thinking of things, and it's
Let's go to somewhere much calmer in here. Stand back. Don't get close
oh my
to
god,
it.
food, yes.
I hope so.
Popcorn? Popcorn? Anybody want popcorn?
You'll have another snack if anyone needs one. We know it takes time.
Alright.
And then we'll get to this oddity here.
I wish I could go under the deck, but we don't have under the deck on the sloop when we go to the shimmer.
You don't have a place to get away from the figure? Every sloop that we had a way under. You just put a little hatch in the floor, you can squeeze in under there.
Oh, yeah, maybe we should.
Have a good night. We'll see you soon, sometime on the sea.
I
We'll
guess I will use
advertise.
the schooner next time and go to the shimmer, and then I can hide under the deck.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They'll
oh,
have to
I
be
got it.
wary.
Maybe just wear a mask and then they won't know that it's you going through the shimmer.
Ooh, smart.
What a bad idea. The skimmer story, that, you know, this is dangerous.
Future you.
How
I am
terrible
not
would it
the-
be if you came through the shimmer and future you just stopped you and pirated you?
Oh my god, what I am now? I am the before me or future me? Anyone know?
If
I
that
know
happened,
I'm.
I would want to know what happened to, you know, make me want to be a pirate.
True.
Right. I think
mean,
the
have you
first
ever
words
met
I'd say is, future me, who hurt you?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
The question is was it really you, or was it a copy? Was it a different? Was it a monster from the shimmer trying to
Right.
be you?
Or
What
maybe
if
it was
you're not-
inhabited by something else.
What if you're not you anymore?
What am
Who
I?
am I then?
Why
You're
am I imagining all of this?
Somebody pinch her and make sure she's
Oh,
awake.
God.
I've only just met you. I'm not really sure who you are. Not fully.
You're one of the new ones. You're the new you. Oh no, you haven't
Oh.
met us before.
No. Oh, shit. Did we go through a shimmer while I was sleeping?
Yes.
Oh, God. What's different about me? Do I look different?
I kinda do, but I just met you. I just met
No,
you.
your hat still looks good.
You look like future you, maybe. It's hard to say. It's wait till after you cross the shimmer, and then decide if you look different then.
That sounds a lot like you don't really go through the shimmer; it goes through you.
But then obviously, if you go through the shimmer and it's then past you, you won't know about the shimmer story, so you'll never know.
No, maybe that's why we don't remember it.
I'm gonna forget all about this?
Yeah, it could be. You go through and you go back in time and you de-age and you're past you now. And what if none of this happened?
I recommend before leaving, everyone's write themselves a note, keep in your pocket.
That's a good idea.
Wouldn't it be better to keep it somewhere that's not in your pocket in case, you get swapped up if future you pass you, what have you, then they'll have the note and you won't, so you still won't
So
know.
should I give the note to somebody else to hold?
Uh,
So you rent a postal box and you
I
keep
was
your
going to
notes.
say, post a letter to yourself.
The problem is when it happened to us, there was a future ship as well as a future us.
Oh no.
So
But so should I write on a note? I should probably write to me. No.
Lead us to this shimmer.
Well, this brings up a good question. If the postal service goes to the shimmer and they are their past selves, do they forget about packages that they had and no longer have them?
Maybe.
that's the thing.
Are they
In
the
time,
future selves? Are the packages already delivered if they're the future selves?
They don't have to wear the package; they've already been
The
delivered.
packages will be in the sorting office on the ship, so they should be.
So if
Okay.
there's two ships and there's a package of 20 gold coming to me and it goes to the shimmer and there's actually two packages now, so you owe me 40 gold. Where is it?
What? Where did the gold come from?
You're trying to con me, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
I just had
who
another
sent
idea.
it to you? Did they get a receipt
I guess not.
when mailing? Large
I don't
money,
have a
we're supposed
receipt.
to have a receipt. Otherwise, we're not covered under our insurance. And
I suppose
can't
next
pay.
you'll say the receipt was lost in the shimmer then.
So I'll have to go speak to Doris. Okay.
Oh, hey,
Future
what if?
receipt. You just have to catch up to it. Cross the shimmer a few times, see if you can catch up to the receipt. It's gonna be circling just ahead of you somewhere.
Yeah, but then you might get grabbed going through so many times.
For real?
They might
Yeah.
realize you know what you're doing. And
You know what I just thought of? You know how you guys do a shimmer and a ship disappeared, and they went to a shimmer and another ship appeared? What if it took your ship and gave it to them?
Oh my
What's
god.
happening?
that's the thing.
Stealing youth.
The future ship was the one that we had to exist on, even though we were awake on the past ship, and we had to put the future us on the past ship and just let it go.
That's
I'm
mind-boggling.
so confused.
Yeah.
It was
And
a
the
future ship. I'm sure
it
it
operates
had some
in
upgrades,
conjunction.
right? Being a newer model or whatnot.
Oh,
Yeah.
perhaps we should move along because I'm going to have nightmares.
Yeah, we'll move on. Let's go to something delightful now. Wait. No. Well, we'll do the story anyhow. The story of the printing press begins in the polar north. The freighter Frozen Sails was used to deliver supplies to a far-flung polar research base, where the Frozen Institute was located. On the slippery top deck of Frozen Sails, a crew member called out eerily, "Who's there?" when they heard voices in the frozen fog crying, calling out. Stopped the other crew in their tracks. Soon enough, they heard it too. Enchanting voices, calling out not in sorrow, but in song. By the time they could raise the alarm, none of them wanted to any longer. Below decks, a sleeping crew member who would be on a late shift was awakened. They were slid out of bed and across the sleeping quarters. Just as the crew member made it halfway out the top side, the sails sitting completely untended, whirled and snapped violently in the wind. The heeling of the ship was so intense the crew members, who were not already overboard, were dumped overboard. The crew member was awestruck with horror. The crew member had plugged their ears with rolled cotton to stop the loud crew from waking them and was oblivious to the sound coming from the ocean. But they knew in an instant what was happening. They were under the attack of the Iron's song. The mast seems authentic. Mass weakened by the whirling, forceful snapping groaned and gave way, crashing through the decks below, severely damaging the hull in the process. The crew member climbed into a dinghy, lowered it, and looked around as those nearby sickeningly dove underwater and disappeared into the now still blue abyss. The survivor rowed and rowed for hours in the frozen waters until they reached land. Staggering onto the frosty shores, they called out and collapsed. They had made it to the island of the Frozen Institute and would very soon be found. The same cannot be said for the frozen cells and her other crew. They drifted down, down, into the darkened depths below. The survivor decided to print a book to tell the tale of that horrendous day and use boards from the very dinghy they survived in to make this printing press behind me.
Oh no.
It is said the sea sirens placed a curse on that dinghy because they did not get the chance to clear the ocean completely that day. The now cursed printing press before us can fall out to those nearby to climb into its gnashing jaws. It is rumored to have eventually devoured the crew member who created it, and we wonder, now is it satisfied, or will it strike again?
So it's just that printing press, right?
Yes. This one, as far as we know, it was made from a dinghy, so and I don't think there were many boards left. That's about it.
Ours haven't eaten us yet, so I guess we're fine.
We just use the wood off our island, you know.
Oh, you're making your own printing press?
Yeah.
Oh, you should be fine. If you're not using
Perfectly
recycled
fine.
wood, yeah, you're fine. Everything's all right.
Well, you didn't use any of that cursed wood that you showed me, did you?
Is the cursed wood going around?
You keep thinking it's cursed. It's just green wood, you know.
But no, we would have used whatever wood sources.
Yes, use only the wood that you harvest yourself. That way you're certain that you're not using any cursed wood of any kind that may be harboring and holding some sort of unnatural event.
So I think we used some white oak, so I think we're pretty safe.
That's the luck. You've done a good job. That's all right. Are we ready for the next and final of the oddities here today?
Exciting times.
In front of us here.
Moving. Oh my god, it was moving.
Oh my god.
Hell.
In front of you stands Hera, the oddity of Itch Meadow Farm. Born during a hurricane, it is believed. She was born in midair, the wrong way around. She has been utterly convinced that she is standing the right way up since she cannot be corrected. She does not use her hooves, and she instead drags herself along the ground with her horns and wiggles side to side to get around. She's able to see berries on the underside of bushes that the other animals miss. So maybe this is a new adaptation of the species in order to fill that void. Her hooves, however, must be filed down regularly. She does not wear them down naturally. She produces what her original owners at the farm referred to as the wrong way milk, in that it comes out the wrong way around. It is said that by not hanging down into her udders and cooling off, the milk stays hotter for longer, and it produces a sweeter, more mature milk with a caramel flavor undertone that is prized over regular milk.
Oh.
Yes, BoggOdd will get you a sample here. We call it Swilk here at the Oddities Museum. I told you we would eventually introduce you to Swilk.
Oh.
Yes, BoggOdd's got samples there for everyone if you
Yes,
would like to.
you feel free to get you as many bottles you like.
Okay.
Thank you.
That does
Oh
taste
wow,
good.
that's not bad. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot sweeter than the standard milk. Goes through a ripening aging process of some sort, internal to the body, so it's not hanging down, cooling.
Oh, oh. It tastes really, really good.
Oh,
Yeah,
very
that's a
cool.
very unique milk.
Yeah.
The Swilk.
Question: are you able to get an offspring from this cow that produces this milk?
We haven't tried.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
know.
I'm gonna
It
be honest.
seems
She doesn't
confusing.
look like she's really up for having kids.
Oh.
Well, that concludes our tour here today at BoggOdd Oddities Museum. We hope that you enjoyed what you've seen here today, and we hope that you spread word of all of the horrors that you've seen, so that others can come and hear the warnings for themselves.
Upon exit, feel free to grab a letter or write a review or whatever. We'll take them at the end.
I want to say that cow looks like she would take it laying down.
I was so angry about that joke, I ruined my bit of paper. Damn it.
Oh no! Did anyone have a favorite oddity that they've seen today? I know if you're writing, you can answer later. Just think on it. We like to know. You can write it in your letter if you like.
I saw there was an empty area. Are you planning to expand or make a new story? More stories in here?
Yes, we hope to. We have another. It takes the freighting company time to deliver oddities, and you're welcome to check back. There could be new oddities at times, and it takes a while though, so we're not quite sure. We just got all this put together, so.
I would absolutely recommend this place to everyone who's living near us.
Oh, we would appreciate that. Yes, thank you.
There's a little letter box here that you can drop these off. Thank you.
Is that little slit on the top of that box? Oh, that's handy. You just drop it through.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Wow.
What?
Just wow.
What?
Was not expecting that.
I like the story about the queen with the pots and the pans.
Oh,
that was cool.
Pans. That's one of my favorites. I'm so glad we found
one of my favorites. It's so cool.
Where do I put my roof?
Oh, right over here in this box on the end. The little box on the top, I think.
Is everyone out of the dam? I would hate to lock you in.
Don't Don't get locked in there with the shimmer figure and all.
I think we've got all of ours.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to spend the night in there with the clockworks.
Yes, I need to get a clicker so I can count how many people go in and how many people go out.
Who was it who had the big post box thing?
Madeline's got some, I believe.
Yeah, I wanted to buy one.
Oh, yeah.
It was a pleasure meeting you all.
What a pleasure to meet you as well. Thank you very much for stopping in and hearing all of the strange, the odd, and the unusual here at BoggOdd Oddities Museum.
Here the mornings.
Thank you for the tour.
Yeah, this was a wonderful find. We were just out treasure hunting, me and my admiral, and it was just randomly found this.
Oh, well, we thank you for stopping. We're glad that you just happened to stumble in just at the time we were giving our very first tour. So we couldn't be more pleased to have met you.
Do you have a flyer available?
I was just about to ask that as well. We can put that on our report.
I didn't write one up.
That's for you guys.
Oh, thank you for the donation.
Thank you very much. Yes, we accept any and all donations here, but none is required. We're here mainly to give warning to people.
And yes, you should get a flyer, and I'm sure we know some people that could deliver it for you too.
There's people that make the deliveries.
Do you have a sample format for the flyer?
Yes, paper.
Paper. Like I was here and you were there, and now you are here and I am there.
Where are you at? Did you cross the shimmer in the world?
Future me will get back to you with that information.
Yes. Past me. Past me no longer cares about that information.
However you would like to do it. I mean, you can write something, or Morgan, you can get Morgan to write something up for you. She's done that for a few people.
Okay.
Just let it on it.
Okay, I'll work on something and try to get it to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Wonderful.
If I can ask just this, what's a good time to come by for tours?
That's part of what we'll work up on the flyer. We're not positive yet.
Yeah,
All right.
we definitely want to be more sociable and attend some events. So if there's events on the water, the museum will probably be closed on those days, so we can attend.
Closed for special events and such on the seas, probably. But we're going to try to be open on weekends, but we're not quite sure which days yet. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something like that.
Like those.
If you ever send anything out by post, send something to C5 Calamity Bluffs.
C5 Calamity Bluffs.
Yeah, the Denmark-Norway trading company. We will post something up on a noteboard or something so other people can see it. And we'll have a post box there so you can drop it in.
And we'll have the postal service deliver one to you.
As soon as we know, we'll come bring one to you guys, Hal.
Oh, excellent. All right. It was a pleasure meeting you. I do apologise. I need to run back to the ship.
Safe travels to you.
Oh, pleasure meeting you as well. Safe seas too. Watch at the shimmer.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, yeah, that's terrifying. Oh, God.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you both for stopping in.
Thank you for the tour. It was amazing.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So, Talsa, are we going to find the treasure?
Yeah. I think I know whereabouts it is.
Yeah. Let's go.
Thought the treasure was right here.
These to you
Wait.
both.
This is a magnificent treasure. We're looking for some other treasure as well.
Oh, well, thank
If
you.
we find any oddities in it, we'll drop them off.
If you find any spirits, take them home with you.
Will do.
Good luck.
Safe.
You both. Thank you very
Have a
much.
nice day.
Hope you have a nice hunt.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yes, we should get on with
Yeah,
that.
we should get on going. Thank you for the tour. It was brilliant. I actually had a really great time.
Wonderful.
Definitely looking forward to, coming around when you get more of your shipments in and stuff.
Oh, sure. We're gonna try. We don't know how long it'll take. The world takes time.
Understandable. But yes, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much. We'll get that letter to you. I'll get the notice to you so we can get it spread along the seas. We just weren't quite ready today to encounter everyone.
Fair enough.
Understandable.
It was good to see you. Oh,
you as well.
Do you know if Norman's still here?
Oh, we ran into Norman the other day when we stopped by your port to send off a pen letter or a pen pal letter.
Yes, we got a very passive-aggressive note from Norman, and I'm guessing he didn't see the letter from head office for him that we'd put on the notice board, so we brought a copy over here. I don't know if is he still...
He was supposed to see Elias about some hide, I think.
Okay, Can I give you the letter, and then if you see him, you can give it to him?
I'll give it to Elias because they were going to meet up, and Elias was going to do some tailor work for him.
Yeah, Elias will be the one that sees him first, I would think. So, but we'll be ready either way.
It's on the ship. Of course, it's on the ship for safekeeping.
I'm gonna run and get it.
Yeah.
We're heading back that way. We can walk with you.
Do that.
Let's close the doors here.
I always do that. I go to get, letters out of my pocket and forget they're in the sort of on the ship.
Don't you just love this new dock? I like it. It's real fancy.
Yeah, it's good.
It all looks really nice. I honestly didn't think there was going to be that much stuff in that building. Like, the building is, not gigantic or small, but there was a lot more stuff in there than I was thinking there would.
So by the
we
small one
try?
as well.
Yeah, we should.
We can take it another time, I guess.
Well, we've got some on the boat. If you wanna.
No worries.
Next these to you. Be careful out there. You're welcome.
Yeah, once the word gets out, these docks are going to be so crowded you won't be able to pass each other.
I'm done.
Even the chickens enjoying the dock or walk